So, Ms. Green, your group is working on Japan and technology and ways to sort of plug both in. So, what sorts of noticings have you had about what the kids are doing so far and what they're liking about this?
Well, what they're liking right now is we have a passport to learning, which we talked about the uses of a passport, and we've also talked about what goes inside of it. So we've been putting the date, our destination. So this has been a big word for them to learn, but they've been learning it. So we're writing Japan here. Actually, let me give you a copy, example of one of them. Let's see, who was mine? Somebody who's drawing a picture would be good.
And so the kids are really excited about being able to take a trip, right?
Yes, so they talked about the bullet train that they've seen in the books in Japan that we've looked at. We've gone online. We've gone to a couple of websites, webjapan.org.
That's very good.
Very good. And it has Kids Web Japan on there as well. And then they've also going on the website where they can translate their names from English to Japanese.
Oh, nande gozaimasu.
And so they've been putting their names, and they've done, 5th grade did mine for me.
That is so nice.
So some of them are walking around with it stapled to their collars. So
it's a different way to identify themselves.
Yes, and they
cool.
like learning. And one student actually went a step above and found how he break down, it was Dustin. He found out the letters in his name mean revered, calm, and two.
There you go.
So
that's giving him a new perspective on who he is.
Yes,
huh?
yes.
That is so cool.
So we've been reading our books together. I've mostly been using this one to teach from because it talks about, it starts off with a young girl, and she's talking about the areas, the 4,000 islands that help connect Japan. And then she talks about why she wears a kimono. And then we went on to talk about where they sit at home. The sumo wrestlers, their diet compared to the rest of the people in Japan, their schools, how they go to school longer, 6 weeks of summer school and Saturdays mornings. And we also talked about the children's festivals.
Good.
And of course, they're very interested to learn why they have those and what they do. So and they also want a copy of this recipe. I told them about a dish, and they keep telling me, make a copy. Yes,
so I see a lot of themes in this book that remind me of the 6 houses for the vibrant communities we've been working on.
Yes.
So do you think maybe the kids would like to see some connections between vibrant communities in Japan and vibrant communities here?
They would love it. They like learning about the yen because they also know that we use money here in America, so they like to learn about their currency. And they also like to learn about the foods they eat. They like knowing that the students also wore uniforms, but they also learn that they don't have custodians or janitors. They clean up their own areas. And so they're encouraged to help during lunchtime.
And are the kids excited about taking a trip both through the literature but also taking a virtual trip? How are the computers integrated into these lessons?
On the Kids Web Japan, I don't think it's on here, but they have little games and everything, but they also had a virtual tour as well.
Good.
And I think I can pull it up for you.
Good.
And on the virtual tour, it showed them going inside of the house, and it showed them. There it is, right there. Japan. So we went where it says virtual culture. And they got to pick a topic. One young lady.
What's the URL for that?
Oh, this is web-japan.org, and then it has that link to go to Kids Web Japan.
And it's in more than one language, yes?
Yes. Oh, yes. You can watch it in French
or Spanish.
And so they like going to the Japanese house, and in the Japanese house, it asks questions, and it also has the words in Japanese like entrance. And so they liked reading what to do, and they would pick which pair of shoes would go, and they liked learning what it meant, or if they got it right, what goes next. And I was very, very impressed that they knew this next one about the table. Oh, well, actually they knew about this one too. What goes in the alcove, and they really liked playing this game because this was stuff they already read about and we discussed.
Sure. So it had meaning for them.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
So it sort of gives you an idea about what's a natural way to connect things and to do some good planning for
and how their homes are different.
And how their homes are different, so different alike. So we did some thinking going on there.
Yes. And then there was another one, the sumo. They were interested in sumo wrestlers. So we just went back to virtual culture. and then they went to the sumo, and there was actually a sumo game, but also it talked about a day in the life of a sumo wrestler.
So what it's like to really be him and
Yes.
to live in his world.
They learned that it is an art, it is a discipline involved, that you don't just get heavy and fight.
Wonderful.
Yes, so
This is going to be a great way for them to be thinking about some comparing and contrasting between their communities and communities there, and maybe even making a friend, right?
yes,
As they go through
definitely.
the process.
Definitely, and to welcome that culture if they ever see a person in the grocery store, in the library, and they also learn that customs are different in different areas and to respect those customs. Just like we would want them to respect things that we do here, we want them to respect what they do there. And
That's
the whole
wonderful.
point of the name is because I wanted them to know our names sound different to them. So to break it down in their terms, then we get to see, oh wow, at least we can find a connection. They have found ways to break it down there too.
There you are.
So
culture being part of community and being
Yes.
part of the things we build, and knowing how, those connections help us live up to what we do with neighborhood centers.
yes, definitely.
So we've been
definitely.
lifting hearts
And
and building
building
futures. Okay. Thank you so much, Ms. Green.
You're very
Can you guys say sayonara?
Sayonara.
Hi,
And
Michelle.
we like to bow before we end our class and begin our class. So I would like to end with.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.